In this video, I want to talk about how to hire, how to outsource, and my methods for hiring people. I also want to talk about how to build a small, elastic team that grows with your business, but also doesn't put you under financial pressure when you have to pay them. I'm going to also talk about my method for hiring people, as well as what I do day in, day out, and how to mitigate risk and prevent mistakes from happening when you do hire people. Hey funnel builders, Mike Killen here from Sell Your Service. If you're a funnel builder, you should subscribe because I produce new videos every single week to help funnel builders like you attract more clients, increase your income, and sell more funnels. I've got some free training in the description below teaching you how to build marketing funnels that customers want to buy. At its core, I want to show you how Ryan Deiss sells marketing funnels, how you can scale your funnel business to profitability, and the 5 funnel types that customers want to buy. So the problem is that if we want to grow a business, especially a funnel business, we want to know that people are doing a good job. You can't grow a business without hiring, even if you're just outsourcing work to freelancers or to colleagues or friends or partners who you know can help. There's still a risk of taking on work from the customer, but then not really knowing how good the work is that the people you're hiring are going to do. A big roadblock in my mind was I don't want to get conned. I don't want to hand a load of money over to someone only for them to do a bad job or to have stolen my money, essentially. I have heard horror stories of people handing over money. We've heard horror stories, of course, customers all the time will say, yeah, I hired someone to build a website or do my marketing for me, and they just took the money and ran off. And we're obviously very hesitant towards doing that, especially with marketplaces like Upwork and PeoplePerHour, although I love those 2 sites. So, it's not the site's problem. There's also the question of scaling and growing at your own pace. It's not necessarily that we just want to hire straight away. We want to make sure that we hire people over time for jobs that we know are going to add value, but also not putting us under financial strain. And we also don't want to go straight into hiring people straight into a salary, because that can become very expensive. One of the biggest roadblocks to me for hiring was, well, what if I don't have work coming in? I don't want to have to keep paying staff to do design, development, or copywriting work when I don't have customers coming in. That was a real problem for me, and I'm going to show you how you can get around that. The misconception is that you have to hire people on a permanent basis, and what we're defining as permanent is changing. It's no longer giving someone a 35 or a 40-hour-a-week contract and paying them a salary. You can have people on a permanent basis who only do 1 or 2 hours a month with you. It's not necessarily that you have to pay them a certain amount to qualify to hire them for an outsourcing job or to scale your outsourcing or your hiring. You can just hire people for the time and the work that you need there and then. So on this board behind me, on my whiteboard, we've got 2 types of tasks or 2 types of work. And we've got 2 types of scope, or the amount of times that work's happened. When I explain this to you, it'll become very obvious. We've got your business here. This is everything that you have to do. This is your business. And then we have your customer's business. This is your customer's work, or this is the project work. So we could also put project here. This is when you take on work for a client and you deliver it to them. If you help them grow their business by $100,000, it doesn't necessarily affect you. Obviously, it kind of does, but it doesn't really grow your business. And similarly, if you grow your business by $100,000, it doesn't necessarily affect them. That's how you separate those 2 out. Your taxes are yours. Their sales are theirs. When you build a website for their business, it's their project. When you build a website for your business, it's your project. We then have 2 types of scope or repetition. One-off tasks. These are also typically bespoke tasks, and we have repeat tasks. So one-off or bespoke tasks are things that we do once. They don't necessarily repeat. There's not even necessarily a pattern to them. An example of this might be a website project for a customer. We might build a website for a customer, but the chances are they're not going to need a new website every single year or every single month. Then we have repeat tasks. These are things that happen every single day, sometimes every single hour, every single year, every single month, every single week. They're things that happen with some kind of regularity. A good example of this is taxes, or your maintenance plans, things like social media posting, email automation, anything that has a repeated cycle where if you find yourself doing it once and then the next week and then the next week and then the next week, that's a repeated task. Your first goal before you hire is to fill out these 4 quadrants and to take a look the one-off and bespoke tasks that you do for your business. One of the priorities for you might be to get your own website or funnel built. You know it's a project that you keep putting off. We talked about this in a previous video, how when you're having to do customer work, and if all of your time is spent over here, then you never have time to do your own business. Other things like lead gen. Now, you might say that lead gen is a repeated task, and I agree, but maybe the strategy or the campaign or certain parts of it are only done one-off. They're like bespoke. Then we have customer projects that are bespoke. So this might be their funnel. Now, this also doesn't necessarily mean that a bespoke task is something that you won't do for other customers. If you're building a funnel, if you've got a standardized funnel package, you might deliver that exact same package to every other customer. So it might be that the funnel build is actually down here. So creating the funnel is a repeat task. This is why you need to think about it. Something that's for like a customer or a bespoke project is usually like support. That's usually quite a good one. Like communications as well. Because support and communications are things like emails that come in when they say, hey, we were wondering if we could change our payment plan or change the billing details, or this particular link doesn't work. It's support inquiries that come in, like maintenance tasks. But the actual maintenance process itself might be a repeat task. It might be something that you do over and over and over. And then finally, for your own repeat tasks, this might be a newsletter, this might be your taxes, anything that you have to do every single day, week or month, repeatedly for your business. Your job is to get as much of this stuff and the repeat tasks done by somebody else, because your one-off and bespoke tasks with your business, the strategy and the vision going forward, are things that other people can take care of. And frankly, even your own lead generation, your funnels and your websites, that can be taken care of by other people. So ideally, we don't want to do any of the stuff on this board. One of my first goals when I set up Sell Your Service was to give me Fridays off. I wanted to give Mike Killen Fridays off. I only wanted to work 4 days a week. So I looked at all of the tasks that I was doing on a Friday. I'd send out my newsletter on a Friday. I'd send out the coaching call replays on a Friday. I'd usually create a piece of content like a video. I'd post the video out. I'd share the video. I'd do all my social media. So I looked at all of the individual tasks that I did on a Friday. And there was a few things that I was doing on like a Thursday as well, or a Wednesday. I thought, well, they happen every single week. I really focused on this area here, my business for repeat tasks. That's where I focused to start with personally. You might decide that you want to focus on this area or repeat tasks for your customer, it doesn't matter. But the goal was to give me Friday off. Fridays now are networking time, it's strategy time, it's learning time, it's time for me to go out and meet people and do interviews and things like that. And what I did was I basically screen captured, I used a program called Use Loom or Loom, and I just screen recorded all of my tasks. Creating newsletters, doing email outreach. There's a few repeat tasks that happen every quarter as well, such as our coaching program reminders. We run on a quarterly basis for our curriculum. Going through that process and recording that and just talking myself through was creating this documentation. The videos were very rough, but they worked. And the reason that they worked is because that was then the interview process that I posted on boards like PeoplePerHour. I then would go to PeoplePerHour, I would put the link to that video and say, please watch this video. This is the task that I want you to do. We've got a budget of $100 a month and I want you to do this over and over and over, every single week, every single month, whatever it might be. Please confirm that you've watched the video. I'd also write up a really brief description of the end goal. So I would say, for example, with the newsletter, we send out a weekly newsletter every single Friday with all of our content. I'm looking for someone to collaborate all of our content, find a couple of pieces from an aggregated source as well, from like other blog posts and other videos, put it all into the newsletter, write a bit of copy and send it out to our email list. This is the process, please follow it. You could also do this for setting up a new funnel. So if you've got hosting that sets up, you just record yourself, you screen record that process, and then you go away, you write up that process and you post it on PeoplePerHour. Some people will want a written version. That's fine. You can add that to the job spec. You can say, I want someone to write up the process for this in Quip, in Process Street, in Google Docs, wherever you want to put it. And I want you to be able to write it up to be able to then, for us to use as documentation or documented process. A good idea is to start with something small that you could repeat or redo if they got it wrong. We started with just the newsletter because I was like, worst comes to worst, we'll have one bad newsletter. I'll check it obviously before it gets sent out, but I can always redo it. It's a relatively quick process. Through that process, we got to know people who we've hired through them repeatedly doing the work, and now we're able to take them on and have larger scoped projects with them. And it's the exact same process with repeat tasks and one-off tasks with customers as well. If you're building a marketing funnel and you know you have a certain copywriting process, let's say that you've got a load of copy from a customer, and then you use a checklist or a template to say to someone, this is the process I want you to use. These are the templates I want you to use. This is the process I want you to go on. It's elastic because you don't have to do it every single month. You could create a package that says, for $4,000, we will ask you, the person from PeoplePerHour or Upwork or wherever, or a colleague or a partner that you found at another networking event, what I want you to do is to deliver this work. I want you to follow this process, follow this documentation, and we'll give you $4,000 because we're going to be charging the customer $12,000. They'll take the work on, they'll do the work, and that gets done. Because they're following your process, they're following your documentation, it mitigates risk. Now, I don't advise going into that level straight away. You absolutely want to start with small repeated tasks, especially small repeated tasks with customers like maintenance plans, updates, hosting, the kinds of things that happen every single week that take time off your plate. That's what you want to focus on first. Your job is to get them to follow the exact procedure, and when they follow the exact procedure, they're less likely to make mistakes. The final piece of the puzzle is ask them to check in with you. We do one on a Monday and a Friday. Our team just checks in with me. We use Quip, so people talk via the documents and via the chat functionality there, and they say, yeah, the newsletter's going to go out, or yes, this job's been done, or whatever. I'll go ahead, I'll check it out, and usually I go, fantastic, thanks very much, and we'll take care of the payment. Now, some of our guys have been working with us long enough where I'll pay them up front, but you don't have to do that. If someone hassles you and says, I need the money up front, you don't have to take them on. You can find people who are going to follow the process. Here's a little pro tip. Inside your documentation video, say something really random, like, we have a red dinosaur in the garage, and then ask them when people say, have you watched the video? So I always say, have you watched the video in its entirety? Now, Loom has some basic analytics, so I can tell if people are lying as well, but they go, yeah, I've watched it, and I go, cool. What type of animal is there in the garage? And they'll go, what the hell? And they have to watch most of the video to get to that weird little sentence. So that's a nice little pro tip to make sure that people watch the video and don't just take it on. Your job is to then use that video and process as your interview process. I've got some free training in the description below teaching you how to build marketing funnels that customers want to buy. At its core, I want to show you how Ryan Dice sells marketing funnels, how you can scale your funnel business to profitability, and the 5 funnel types that customers want to buy. So let me know, what's the first thing that you're going to outsource, either in your business or in your customer's business? Let me know in the comments below. If this video was useful, I'd massively appreciate a like and a share. If you share it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, that really helps me out. Make sure to hit the little bell icon as well to get notified when I have new content coming out and new videos. In the meantime, guys, if you're a funnel builder, go ahead and subscribe. I produce new videos every single week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was useful. In the meantime, I'll see you on the next video. Keep building those funnels. Thanks for watching, guys. I've got a couple of videos here which you might be interested in, talking about funnel related topics like how to price a marketing funnel and how to find your first marketing funnel customer. In the meantime, if this video was useful, hit that like button, make sure to leave me a comment and subscribe if you are a funnel builder. I'll see you on the next video. Keep building those funnels.